Thank you very much, Lizel, and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. We're starting off with mild conditions over the southern parts of South Africa this morning. As you can see, a minimum of 12 degrees for Komani and 14 over Makanda. And along the east coast, it is pleasant at eThekwini at 23 and 20 over Richards Bay. Johannesburg is starting at 17 and a minimum of 19 in Pretoria. And similar conditions as well over Mahikeng in the northwest province. And further west, very mild temperatures in Sutherland at a minimum of 10, 11 in Calvinia and 16 degrees over Uppington for this morning. In the mother city, we are starting at a minimum of 15 degrees. But for the afternoon, there is a slight chance of some rainfall over Cape Town and surrounding areas as a result of a passing cold front. And further eastwards, some severe thunderstorms can be expected over the northern interior, including over the northwest into the eastern Free State and the high-lying areas of the Mpumalanga province. Otherwise, a slight chance of rainfall in KwaZulu-Natal and the northern interior of the Eastern Cape. And for this morning as well, we're expecting some fog patches in places over the eastern parts of the country, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, the Eastern Free State, the western parts of KwaZulu-Natal, and the southern interior of the Eastern Cape later on this morning. And we're also expecting a warning of some severe thunderstorms in the northwest, spreading to the Free State in the north and the high-lying areas of Mpumalanga. And ahead of the cold front, it is very windy over the southwestern interior, and as such, we are expecting some runaway fires in the northern Cape, the western Cape, and the northern interior of the Eastern Cape. And very rough seas can be expected over Cape Town as a result of the approaching cold front. And if you will be watching the game later on this afternoon, do expect a slight chance of some thunder showers. And the morning is starting at 17 degrees, but later on in the afternoon, we're expecting a maximum of 27 degrees. And by the evening, there's no chance of rainfall expected there, with a maximum of 22 degrees expected over the FNB Stadium. So please do be in the lookout for that. Otherwise, temperatures will peak at 30 degrees for Johannesburg and 26 over Springs, with a 30% probability of thunder showers later on in the afternoon in the Gauteng province. Polokwane will peak at 27, 29 in Lephalale, and we're expecting a maximum of 29 degrees over Mokopane for today. In Mpumalanga, Emelo will peak at 27 and similar conditions over Middleburg, Carolina, and Emalahleni, with a 30% probability of rainfall expected in the low-veld region of this province. And in KwaZulu-Natal, 36 degrees for Pietermaritzburg and 33 over Vryheid, and scorching temperatures can be expected in the north coast of this province. And in the Eastern Cape, a high of 26 for Makanda and 32 over Komani, with a 30% probability of rainfall later on in the afternoon. In Cape Town, we're expecting a high of 24 degrees and 25 over Frendal, with a slight chance of rainfall over the mother city later on this afternoon. In Sutherland, we're expecting 23, but scorching temperatures will persist in Uppington at a maximum of 36 degrees. In Bloemfontein, a high of 30 for the afternoon and 32 over Bothaville. And lastly, in the northwest, a fine day at first here, but later on in the afternoon, we're expecting a 60% probability of rainfall for Mahikeng at a maximum of 28 degrees. And a very warm day is also expected in Taung, reaching a high of 31 degrees. And that is all from the weather desk.